Hey, everybody. Remember, if you're a fan of the Tennessee Volunteers or just sports in general, please like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all support's greatly appreciated. Now, let's get to the video. Hey, guys. How's it going? Happy Sunday. Hope you're all doing well. Wanted to record this video. It's been a day removed since the loss to Vanderbilt on senior night, and quite frankly, this isn't going to be necessarily a recap of that video, of that game per se, but more so this video will be a recap of the regular season, the highs, the many lows, and what to expect as we enter into arguably one of the most exciting times in sports, which is March Madness. So just wanted to dive into that. And so starting off again, we'll touch on it very high level. Tennessee lost to Vanderbilt to 86 to 82. Again, I'll be completely candid with you. A game that I watched bits and pieces of, especially in the second half. Had season tickets this year to men's basketball. I just kind of felt the writing on the wall with this one. No Nate Ament, and just seeing how lethargic this team looks against good competition, even with him. I'll but call me a negative all you would like. Chalked this up to a loss, so I decided not to go. And lo and behold, it was that. At one point, I glanced at my phone and saw the statistics that said, Vanderbilt 15, Tennessee 2. And I looked at my friend who I was with at the time, and I said, one thing about a Rick Barnes team, you can have a double-digit lead, and you can almost guarantee, if it's a quality opponent, there's a strong chance this season that a team will get back into it, whether it's due to turnovers, sloppy play, cold streaks, all the above. But when the roles reversed, if we're down by double digits, we just lack the offensive efficiency, especially when we don't have Nate Ament to make those types of runs. We just don't. Now, I was proved wrong a little bit, right? Got to see the close of the second half. Tennessee made a run. Final score, they end up losing by 4, got kind of a free throw off there at the very end. But this was really a game that Vanderbilt led for, the majority of the game. They were the better team. They were better coached. And, they ruined senior night for our seniors, and that's really unfortunate. But that leads to my next portion here is, looking back at the season thus far, and I think it's important that we kind of draw a line in the sand. What has happened does not necessarily say what will happen, but it certainly will have an influence on it, right? And what do I mean by this? Throughout the season, Tennessee has been consistently a team that turns the ball over and a team that lets leads slip away. You can chalk this up to a lot of things, like I just mentioned, whether it's due to, the offensive scheme, just kind of this being virtually a brand new team that was pieced together. So early on, they lacked that chemistry. Here we are, 4 or 5 months into the season, and at times that chemistry shines really bright, and at other times it's not something that is the best thing to watch or to consume. But one thing is being consistent, right? Sloppy turnovers, dropping games when you shouldn't, letting double-digit leads disappear. Other things have been true as well. Nate Ament has been on a steady incline from the beginning of this season. I was one of his biggest critics early on. I was like, you see somebody like Darius Acuff or Cam Boozer, these touted freshmen that come in and they make impacts immediately, and then Nate Ament's bricking balls left and right, going 5-11 from free throw against Arkansas, not wanting to seek physicality in the game. not wanting to draw fouls, and is somewhat of an offensive liability. Started that way, but man, throughout the middle of January through the end of February, he just skyrocketed. He more actively started seeking that physical play, became more reliable from free throws, started getting a little bit better with his three-point shot, and also his mid-range game improved significantly. At times, he did look like Kevin Durant. It was crazy to see. And then, unfortunately, he suffers that knee injury, was already kind of injured beforehand as well, and that didn't help things. So sidelines him for the last few games of the year in a crucial stretch against Alabama. Another highlight, right, is Amari Evans, Dwayne Brown, Troy Henderson didn't really play too much. Would not be surprised if he doesn't transfer out, but we'll see. Who knows what might happen there. The young core is appealing. And Amari Evans, I think, finished with like 24 points, 9 of 18 from the field. He is a dog. He is a stereotypical Rick Barnes player. So while it's unfortunate, this season seeing some of those offensive slumps from some of the more upperclassmen, there is a lot of hope in that freshman core that Rick Barnes has brought in. Nate's as good as going to the NBA. Absolutely can't blame him. But if you can keep Amari Evans, Dwayne Brown, and supplement with people around him, he could have the future Admiral Schofield and Grant Williams. We'll see. Maybe they'll be as good, better, worse. But early on, freshmen, they're great. Which leads me to the last part of this, and I think something that we all have to kind of understand as Tennessee fans. Rick Barnes has done so much for this program. So much. 2 back-to-back Elite Eights. In the tournament virtually for the last 7 years. One of the few universities that have done that. He has made us a relevant player on the stage. And I'm forever grateful for Rick Barnes. I'm sitting here. We finished 21-10. Guess what? We had 21 wins. For many teams, this year would have been an absolute rebuild, but not for Rick Barnes. You finished 5th in the SEC. You brought in one of the top players in the country. You dropped games that you shouldn't. That's, on him, on the players. We'll see. But my God, Rick Barnes has just done a tremendous job. But fact of the matter is, Rick Barnes is getting older. Time catches up to us all. Rick Barnes is no different. Does he retire this year? I don't think so. Is it next year? Is it the year after? Who knows? But it's fast approaching. And Tennessee has to brace ourselves for what life looks like after Rick Barnes. And I don't know what that's going to look like. But what I can say is we don't need to take 21-10 seasons for granted. We don't need to take 5th seed in the SEC tournament for granted. We don't need to take potentially 6th seed in the NCAA tournament for granted. This man has done so much for this university and this men's basketball program. It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal. Him and Bruce Pearl in my lifetime, born in 1994. 2 just pillars of making us good and making us relevant. So forever grateful for Rick Barnes. And while I'm complaining at the first part of the video, I know there's many teams out there that would have begged to have a 21-10 season with the schedule we had, with the injury to Cade Phillips, with the injury to Nate Ament to close out the season. Things were not smooth this year, but this team has bonded. This team has improved. And this can, in small part, be chalked up to Rick Barnes, because this man is the constant in every team we've had for the last 10 years, and he will continue to be. So, we'll see what happens. The regular season, it's been okay. It could have been better. It could have been a whole lot worse, too, right? So we'll see kind of where, 3 years from now, what we think about this. Now, what this does lead me to is looking ahead. Tennessee enters the SEC tournament as the 5 seed. Guys, we have a very, very realistic path to the to the semifinals if Nate Ament comes back, which I do think they've left him out intentionally so he can get rest. And let me zoom in here so you guys can see a little bit better. And so he can get rested up. Is there a world where we win the SEC? I doubt it, simply for the fact that big Gator logo is just sitting there staring at us, right? Now, for you all to know, I've got futures on Florida. I think Florida's winning the national championship again. Sucks. I hate it. I don't like it. So, I do think we can make it to the semis, which will be good. And then we'll go into the tournament. And I've said it all along, and I will continue to say it. This team will go as far as Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament can take it. If both of them can drop 30 points a game, 25 points a game, limit the turnovers, this very well can be a Sweet 16 Elite 8 team. Fringe Final Four, depending on what our draw looks like. But if you have a hobbled Nate Ament, if you put Gillespie in a position like he has to do it all and the ball gets turned over, do not be surprised, guys, if we don't get bounced in the first or second round. That's just the reality. And that's why I say, regardless of what happens in March, this has been a rebuild. It's just been a more pleasant rebuild than people were expecting. And we have to be aware of that. So, again, a lot of basketball, hopefully, left to be played. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Was this season a wash? Was it a failure? Are you reserving your judgment until the final whistle? Oh, it paused. Sorry. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for stopping in today. And remember, if you like this content, I can't ask enough. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all support's greatly appreciated. And as always, go Vols!